Nancy. Where's Nancy?
Move down.
Could you pass that over? Okay. You're up.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank you all for joining us here at Grand Central Terminal. My name is Louis Napolitano. I'm the Director of Security and Facilities at the Doe Fund. The Doe Fund is a tremendously successful human services, not-for-profit, which Mr. George McDonald had founded. He's also dedicated his life to the Doe Fund. When I met George, it was in the mid-1980s. I was working as a police officer in the same building, Grand Central Terminal. George could be seen here for 700 straight nights, passing out food to the homeless, literally feeding hundreds of people. At that time, the terminal considered his outreach to the homeless an act of disorderly conduct. I was told to arrest him. Now, I didn't want to do that because I thought George had a great idea. He always had a real vision. Where others saw a beaten down, tired station, Mr. McDonald saw an opportunity for growth. Where others saw hopelessness that should be locked up and forgotten, George saw a workforce that could improve the city. Even in those days, George had a vision for the city of New York, outside of darkness of the 1980s and towards something that was much better. He is a leader, he is a fighter, and to this day, he makes New York City a better place. And I am proud to have come full circle, from literally arresting him to standing in strong support of his candidacy for the city of New York mayor. It shows just how far our city has come in a short period of time, but it also goes to speak how far Mr. McDonald has brought us. I'd like to introduce someone who can speak more about what George's vision has meant to him and his family, Mr. Nazarene Griffin. Is the Facilities Director at the Doe Fund Harlem Center for Opportunity. For more than 15 years, he has helped the men of Ready, Willing, and Able to program their own courses to success. He is a dedicated father, a dedicated husband, and positively impacts thousands more lives each year. But life wasn't always like that for him. He has an incredible example to bring forth, and it's also an example of George's unique vision for this city. Please welcome Mr. Nazarene Griffin.
Good morning. My name is Nazarene Griffin Jr. and I am the Facility Director at the Harlem Center for Opportunity, where every day I get a chance to help men take their lives back a day at a time. 20 years ago, my life was very different. Jobless, I was homeless, and I was living in the streets of New York with no hope. I was fortunate enough at that time to find my way to the Gates Avenue facility where I was able to get my life back in order. The thing that attracted me to the Gates Avenue facility, the Doe Fund that was running, the only one they were running at the time in 1995, was the fact that they offered what they call paid work. I felt that I needed some money if I was going to return back to Main Street. So that's what attracted me. The same thing that attracts the men to the Doe Fund today. So I found my way there. Timing is everything in this world, I believe. It was the right time for me. I was fortunate enough to get an entry-level position at the Doe Fund, and I used the very principles that I learned at the Doe Fund. You see, it's real simple. The Doe Fund believes work works. And that's what I put into my new life, my reinvented life, and I haven't looked back since. I've grown in the organization from an entry-level staff member to a program director today. People ask me all the time, I've done a few interviews, I'm real nervous now, but you know, I've done a few interviews, and one of the things interviewers always ask me is, you know, you got your life back, you're free from this hopelessness. why do you do the work that you do? And there's two reasons why I do it. I was on a tour with George. I never envisioned to be part of someone else's dream, right? And I was on a tour with George one time where he talked about that in his vision, he always dreamed that the very people he helped would be sitting in positions to help others. And I knew then that I was going to stay and work. I had found my niche because I never imagined that I was part of someone else's dream. The other reason I do is because as I stay here, I find out that people like George does is like the highest aspiration of the human heart. There is something that you just get back from it. It's not a paycheck. It's just something that you go home with every night. When you have a person like George McDonald in your corner, who believes in your ability, even after sometimes your own family members are confused, and no longer want to help you, and continues to fan that flame, right? You start thinking again that you can do it again. You start acting like you can do it, and before you know it, you are doing it. You need someone to fan the flame of success and enterprise in your city, and I believe George McDonald is the man. Thank you.
And now, a man who needs little introduction.
He's going to get one anyway.
My friend, founder and president of the Doe Fund, and the next mayor of the city of New York, Mr. George McDonald.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming. Before I begin my short remarks, I want to introduce my family. The most important things in my life are God, family, community, and country, basically in that order. So, my wife Harriet, with whom there wouldn't be any announcement today, without whom there wouldn't be any announcement today, and there wouldn't be any Doe Fund, because the honest to God truth is that we have accomplished what we've accomplished together. So my partner in the love of my life, Harriet R. McDonald. 20 some odd years ago, I enticed someone to leave Solomon Brothers for the opportunity to work in the not-for-profit area, and that would be my son John, who came from Solomon Brothers to manage our cash flow all those years ago, and $700 million later, he's still here and still managing. My son John McDonald. And Abigail Mann, my daughter, that I was so honored to have come into my life when Harriet and I got married 25 years ago. And she's brought the joy of all of our lives. Emma Rideout Mann, my 9-year-old granddaughter. I have 2 other children, 2 daughters, and 2 grandsons. 1 5 and 1 3. And 1 5 years old is at school at 96th Street, or else he would be with us today. So, thank you all for coming, and thank you everyone for being here. Time is not what it seems in Grand Central Terminal. It's said that trains leave promptly on schedule 1 minute after the posted time on the big board, the kind of grace period for busy commuters, and in what seems like a minute, our city has been transformed. 25 years ago, New York was a different city. It was dirty, dingy, unsafe, and many believed unmanageable. It was widely thought that our best days were behind us. During those days, I came to Grand Central every night, 700 nights in a row, to feed the homeless. As Lou said, I was regularly cajoled by those who believed that big government programs and handouts were the best way to feed the hungry, shelter the homeless, and find jobs for the unemployed. They were wrong then, just as they're wrong now. What I learned from my experience is something far different. I learned that not only is dependency corrosive to the human spirit, but that dependency and freedom are fundamental opposites and can't be reconciled. Most importantly, I learned that people don't want to hand out, they want to hand up. 700 nights inspired 25 years. My wife Harriet and I built the Dough Fund from nothing except a bedrock belief in America and that anyone can climb the economic ladder if provided an opportunity and a paying job. Today, the Dough Fund is a $50 million business. We have not just created thousands and thousands of jobs, we have cleaned up the streets of our city and improved the quality of life for all our citizens. It has been a tremendous success. We have empowered people like my friend Nazarene and literally tens of thousands of others to reclaim their lives, rebuilding families and communities. And that is why here in Grand Central, the crossroads of this city, I stand before you today to announce my candidacy for mayor of the city of New York. Thank you very much. I'm running for mayor because I understand the power of a job. I know and have seen firsthand how hard work and personal responsibility can have a transformational effect on a person's life. And let me be clear, we face a jobs crisis in our city. Our overall unemployment rate is almost 9% and is as high as 11.8% in the Bronx. Worse yet, the rates of unemployment among young blacks and Latinos are at 14% and almost 10% nationally. President Bill Clinton said, "I do not believe we can repair the basic fabric of society until those people who are willing to work have work." I agree with him. Paid work makes a more engaged electorate, creates taxpayers, generates revenue, reduces crime, inspires entrepreneurship, and encourages men and women to be stakeholders in our schools, our churches, and our charitable organizations. That is why the central promise of the McDonald administration is simple. We must set as a goal the full employment of every resident of our great city. Every New Yorker who wants a job should have a job. It is attainable by establishing the same type of innovative solutions that we have pioneered at the Dough Fund. We can help realize our goal of full employment. Work, independence, economic freedom. These are the principles that will reinvigorate our economy. During the past presidential election, there was much discussion of the 47%. I know something about the 47%. I have worked with them each and every day for the past 25 years. They don't dream less. They don't care less. They don't aspire less. But the best way to empower the 47% is to help them find a job and then let them keep as much of what they earn themselves. A job for everyone is the final frontier of public safety. That's why our goal is 100%. A McDonald administration will work for 100% of New Yorkers. a healthy Wall Street, a growing West Side, a revitalized Harlem, a rebuilt Rockaways, a rejuvenated Staten Island, a bustling Brooklyn, and a booming Bronx. All of New York, together, we must work and grow. Ladies and gentlemen, our city is at a crossroads. This is the most important election in 20 years. There are those who want to harken back to the divisive policies of the past. And there are those who would turn our city back over to the unions and special interests. But like the time in Grand Central, in what seems like a minute, all we have done to make our city better can come undone. I'm running for mayor because I believe that we together can move forward to make a stronger city, to keep our streets safe, our schools better, a city where all who want a job have a job. God bless you, and God bless America. God bless you.
Questions. Mr. McDonald, in order to get full employment, hello, down here, sorry. In order to get full employment, that's me.
You know why I'm running for mayor, Azzy?
I heard.
You have a better clout score than I.
One day that'll change. Do you support government subsidies for places like Fresh Direct and private companies that say we're going to move to New Jersey, we're going to move to Westchester?
I think that those are good questions, but I think that we have a long campaign that we get to those kinds of specific things as we go along. I'm definitely in favor of anything that encourages the establishment of small business, because small business is where job growth comes from.
Mr. McDonald, I understand you changed your registration to run as a Republican. Why run as a Republican? Do you see yourself more as a Republican? Your policies more in line with Republicans?
I do. When Rudy Giuliani was mayor, they used to, if you look at the clips, they used to think that the liberals in the city would say that I was to the right of Attila the Hun, because we do drug testing and we provide jobs, work instead of welfare. So there is a divide between the liberals and the Democratic Party, and my philosophy in the Republican Party meets my look. In New York City, solutions are more important than parties. I mean, that's what people support. People support in New York City individuals who have solutions to solve our problems, and parties come after that. But I'm definitely a Republican because I believe that economic empowerment is the answer, and not the dole, and not separating groups of people and putting them over here in three hots in a cot and say, we don't expect anything from you. What is that?
Are you expecting a contentious Republican primary?
I'm sorry?
Are you expecting there to be a contentious Republican primary?
Republican primary, yes. Contentious, not on my part.
You mentioned
I think, and if I can just expand on that a bit, I think that in our participatory democracy, that it's important for people to run for office. So I have great respect for anybody who stands up and says, I want to lead, and these are my ideas. And it's through campaigns and debate and discussion that we come up with good ideas. And it's not necessarily the person who comes up with the idea that implements it in the end. So, if you look back at 311, and the election when Mayor Bloomberg was first running, that actually wasn't his idea. But he got that idea in the campaign, and now it's been implemented in New York City and works very effectively. So my point is that it doesn't have to be contentious. I would encourage people to run, and I would, more than run, encourage people to vote. Because in New York City we have a serious problem of lack of participation. And that's how you lose this precious democracy that we have.
I'm just curious, you mentioned the critique of the 47% from Mitt Romney. Did you support Governor Romney in the presidential election or President Obama?
Pardon me?
Did you support Governor Romney in the presidential
I
election?
supported Governor Romney. That doesn't mean that I agree on everything. Definitely the 47%.
Couple more.
I know you, the Doe Fund receives a lot of government funding. Is there anything you're doing to, in terms of you're running your campaign, in terms of your relationship with the Doe Fund, or anything of that sector?
I don't understand the question.
Well, the Doe Fund receives government funding. Is that important?
Well, 2/3 of our budget is actually raised from other government funding. So, I think that all of New York is a great value in what the Doe Fund has done. But my campaign is larger. It's about leadership and competence and the ability to provide employment. And how do we, not the government, but how does the government work with other providers like ourselves and then to provide opportunity and jobs. I think that that's the important thing. The Doe Fund is just an example of what it is that we can do on a much larger scale using other organizations.
One more. You mentioned that, I don't know if you talk about the Democratic Party or any particular candidates about they want to take us back to where the unions and the special interests run the city.
Right.
Who are you referring to when you mentioned
Exactly what I said. I mean, the unions.
No, but who? Who wants to bring us back to those days? You're saying that in this election you're concerned about people want to bring us.
That's what the campaign is about. We'll get to.
But who is? Well, but who are you referring to?
But specifically, I'm not going to do that here. I mean, unions, public service unions. I mean, we turn on the TV.
Last question.
Can you talk about your problem with the campaign finance board, and are you going to continue raising money above the city limits, and what's going to happen if that comes into conflict with the law?
What's going to happen, I don't know. That's why we've asked them, that's why we've gone to court to stop them from any enforcement action. Look, I'm going to keep on raising money under the state law. We believe that the state law prevails. It's not like we're violating any of the state laws. And, that'll be a matter for the court to decide. But as far as we're concerned, that's off of the table. We've done what we have to do as a responsible campaign to put us in the position to raise money, not only from my friends who have very little money, but from my friends who have a lot of money. And I think that that's something that a person like I, who's been working in the public interest for 25 years, but not collecting names of people to support a political candidacy, should have available. All we want to do is operate under the state law. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.